Shalom, shalom, everyone. This is Yaina Yisrael with another edition of the School of Knowledge on the Sabbath day. We'd like to welcome you to our class. Thank you for sharing your Sabbath with us. As you all know, we were teaching about the millennium, and someone asked a question about King Dawid and where will he come in at on the millennium. So we need to do a lesson about that so that we could cover it. So we're talking about King Dawid's rule. I just put a picture in here of this guy because as we pull up the pictures online, of course, we see King Dawid as a Caucasian man, which we know that is not true. We know that the Negroes are from the lineage of Shem, Noah's son, and we are the children of Israel. Therefore, Dawid was considered to be ruddy, which means that he was not Caucasian. He was actually a black man. So I wanted to be able to put that on there just as a visual. I also wanted to start with a different scripture today in Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 7, because as I was doing this lesson, I got really excited at the promises that we have as a nation. There's no nation on the planet Earth right now that has the promise of the Elohim that we have as our nation and our people have. So Deuteronomy chapter 4 sums that up. Verse 7, it says, "For what nation is there so great, who have Yah so nigh unto them, as the Most High our Elohim is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great that had statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day? Only take heed to yourselves, and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life. But teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons." So we have a responsibility as Hebrew Israelites to pass this knowledge on from one generation to the next generation to the next generation and so forth and so on. That is the purpose for the classes. That is the purpose for us learning together on the Sabbath day so that we understand what this story is all about. So I always want to start with this scripture so that we know the responsibility that we have, how great a nation we are, things that we have Yah so close to us that we call on him and he's there for us, even though we're in captivity. So we're going to go to the supernatural king. And the reason why would I call King Dawid the supernatural king in this lesson? Anybody have an idea? Why is he supernatural?
Because he's returning?
Yes, because he's returning. He's returning he was mortal in his first reign, but he's going to be immortal in the second reign. Absolutely. He's returning. Watch what it says. We're going to Jeremiah chapter 30. And I hope you guys got your books out so you can put this information in your books. We encourage everyone to buy a spiral notebook because as we teach these lessons, each one reach one, and you guys can go back and teach your families, when the time comes. Jeremiah chapter 1. It says, "The word that came to Jeremiah from the Most High, saying, Thus speaketh the Most High Elohim of Israel, saying, Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. For lo, the days come, saith the Most High, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel, and Yehudah, saith the Most High. And I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. And these are the words that the Most High spake concerning Israel and concerning Yehudah. For thus saith the Most High, We have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man doeth travail with child? Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness? Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Most High of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off his neck, and will burst his bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. But they shall serve the Most High their Elohim, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. So we know that David is coming back in this 1,000-year kingdom, and he will be ruling and reigning on the earth for the children of Israel. Anybody have any questions about that? Don't keep going. Therefore fear not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Most High, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed. Now that is a promise. That is why I read Deuteronomy chapter 4, because we have to understand there is no nation on the planet that has this promise given to them by their Elohim. He said, I'm coming to get you. He said, don't be worried, don't be dismayed. For I will save thee from afar, and thy seed, and your children. Watch what he says. From the land of their captivity, and Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. You know, with all the killings, and the police brutality, and the black-on-black crimes, and the shooting, and all the drugs, and all the stuff, all that will be over. That is truly a blessing. I mean, that is something to look forward to. There will be no more hatred. There will be no more isms and schisms. There will be no more issues. It will be over with. Watch. For I am with thee, saith the Most High, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations, whether I have scattered thee. Yet I will not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. The Most High said all this other stuff getting ready to be over with. Ain't going to be no more America. Ain't going to be no more Russias. Ain't going to be no more Irans. It ain't going to be, they just going to be a people. He said, I'm going to make an end of it. It ain't going to be all of that no more. But I won't make a full end of thee. He said, but you're going to be punished for the things that you've done. Watch. For thus saith the Most High, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicine. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not. For I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. That's why I keep telling the Israelites, you know, even though we sound brutish and we sound angry and we want revenge, the Most High said, I did this to you. And that's a hard pill to swallow. Because everybody wants somebody to blame. Well, if I hear, especially around Thanksgiving, well, they stole the land from the enemy. They had to do that. From the Indians. They took it from they had to do that. Because we had to serve our 400 years here. Anybody got a comment? Question? All this was planned by the Most High Yah. Nothing happens by chance. Nothing. Watch. Here we go. Why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquities, because thy sins were increased. I have done these things unto thee. He said, don't mean crying. You know what you did. Don't cry for your affliction. Don't get mad. because I warned you. How many times did he warn us? Over and over and over again, he warned us. He said, your sorrow is incurable. Because of all the stuff, the iniquities that you did, because of all the sin, your sin, I'm the one that done these things to thee. You can't blame the white man. You can't blame the red man. You can't blame nobody else but Israel. Because we weren't supposed to be sitting here. We did this to ourselves. Anybody disagree? Anybody have a comment? I mean, when it gets when it gets here, this is when it gets real. When you have to say, yeah, I'm sorry. Because he put you here so that you could be afflicted. He put you here so that your wounds would be grievous. He put you here. He put us in this situation because of our own disobedience. Wow.
And he formed a people to carry it out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I tell people, don't get upset about white privilege. Everybody getting it. These people have been privileged for years. White privilege is just, this is how he wanted it to be. Because you was going to stay on the bottom until he changed it. Like you said, they're just acting out. They're acting their part. He put them in a place for them to do that, and they're doing it well. They're doing it well.
And I just wanted to add that Israel is such a great nation as long as they were adhering to the law, statutes, and commandments that no nation could have conquered Israel unless the Most High allowed it.
That's absolutely true. That's correct. That's what I'm saying. And that's the hardest thing for us as a people to accept. That's a hard thing to accept. I seen, I don't know who it was they were protesting about somebody being killed, and I saw this little girl. She couldn't be no more than about 18 or 19, and she was just standing in the middle of the street screaming like, why do they hate us so much? I don't understand why they hate us so much. And I just wanted to just grab her and hug her and say, honey, it's because of what you did. If you hadn't have done what you did, our forefathers hadn't have done what they did, this would have never been.
But that's typically the question that causes us to come to understanding who we are, the whys. And once we hear it in a way in which we can receive it, we accept it because it's the only thing that makes sense. And I think that is because we know we are great people in spite of everything, and we can't figure out why we so messed up as a collective. And when we get that understanding, it seems to all come together, and that's a part of our awakening, those whys.
That's true. Very well put. That's true. When I was coming up, I heard Louis Farrakhan. He made so much sense. You ain't got nothing because you don't want nothing. All black people need to do is get up off their lazy behind and start doing something. And you know what? That sounds really good when somebody else is saying it. And it's like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're telling the truth. Yeah. Until you get up and get to moving and you run into the same resistance. It's the same resistance. Because it's only so far you're going to go. Because no matter how much you achieve, there's somebody over you. And he put them there on purpose. He did. He really did. And you just don't. I have a cousin that's he's very ambitious. He's successful and he's very ambitious. And we did a interview of different men from different calibers on our women's call. We invited them to our call and we interviewed them. And one of the biggest things he said was, my struggle is, I think I deserve a seat at the table. And I'm going to keep on fighting till I get that seat at the table. And we just listened. We like, because I deserve to be there. And that's the sentiment of most of us. We're intelligent, we're educated, we're innovative, we're creative. We have all of the necessary tools to be able to achieve whatever we want. That's not something we're lacking, but there's a resistance there. And you're like, no matter how hard I try, it's something resisting me. I don't understand why it's so hard. Because the Most High said in His Word, I have done all these things unto thee. Which brings us to verse 16. He said, therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine enemies, every one of them shall go into captivity. So guess what this means? This thing is getting ready to turn around. He said it ain't going to always be this way. It's going to turn around, but it's going to be at my discretion and my own timing and not yours. So you got to suffer a little while till I decide to change it, because it's going to change, but it's going to be at my own time. So he is going to do something to those people that went too far. That's a promise. Watch what he says. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. He said, I put you here for you to be punished. And the punishment was real. He said, but while you was being punished, I was watching how they punished you. Just because they could. I was watching how far they went just because they felt like they could. And it reminds me of the time that I was in Walmart in the parking lot going in the store, and this Jehovah's Witness lady, she was a black lady, she was walking through the parking lot giving people their booklets that they pass out. And I said, no, thank you, sis. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I don't believe in any organized religion. And she was like, yeah, but I said, if you're a descendant of the transatlantic slave trade, more than likely you are too. And she shook her head like she wasn't. And the conversation kept going on. And the thing that struck me the most that came out of her mouth is, yeah, but you all turned against your God. That's why you're being punished. They know. And I just kind of looked at her like, wow. So they know. Watch what he says in 17. He said, for I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Most High. Because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. They said, don't nobody want these people. Where they come from? Who are they? They're just a nuisance. Everywhere they go, they're a nuisance. For real, don't live with the niggers, because it's a nuisance. It's just a problem. You know why it's a problem? It's because we're out of our natural element. They call us outcasts. We're out of our natural element. This is not the way we were supposed to live. But he said, I'm going to restore your health. We all need that. We were just talking about that this weekend. Everybody tired of high blood pressure, diabetes, and all the other EDs and drug and illnesses that go along with living under these captivities. He said, I'm going to restore your health, and I'm going to heal your wounds. Watch what he said. Thus saith the Most High, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tent, and have mercy on his dwelling places. And the city shall be built upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving, and the voice of them that make merry. And I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. So we're going to grow as a people again. We were so large that no man could number us. He shrunk us down to a small remnant. But he said, when I gather you back, that means babies on top of babies and more babies. Watch what he says. Their children also shall be as aforetime, and their congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all that oppress thee. Does all mean all?
Yeah.
Yes.
Here it
Yes,
does.
it means all.
All means all. I'm going to punish all that oppress thee. This is what he says. Watch. And their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governors shall proceed from the midst of them, and I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. For who is this that engage his heart to approach unto me, saith the Most High? And ye shall be my people, and I will be your Elohim. Behold, the whirlwind of the Most High goeth forth with fury, a continual whirlwind. It shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. The fierce anger of the Most High shall not return until he has done it, and until he has performed the intents of his heart. In the latter days ye shall consider it. It's coming. That's why everybody trying to erase the books. They want to erase slavery out of the books. It don't matter. Because our children don't want to feel like that we have oppressed thee. It don't matter. It don't matter whether you take the words off the pages. It's all, the deeds have been done and they have been written down. The angels have taken notes, and it's already set in stone what's coming next. Because the same way we had to be punished, everybody else gonna get the same punishment. Any comments, concerns, issues? He said, this thing ain't returning. He said, my anger ain't coming back until it's done it. Until it has performed the intents of my heart. He said, and it's going to get ugly. It is. Watch. One stick, one nation. We're getting into Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 15. It said, the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Yehudah, and for the children of Israel his companions. Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel his companions. And join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, thus saith the Most High Elohim, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribe of Israel his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Yehudah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in mine hand. And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thy hand before their eyes. And say unto them, thus saith the Most High Elohim, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whether they be gone, and will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all. And they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all. So what the Most High is doing is he's bringing us back to the status that we were before, when King Dawid ruled over us when he was a mortal king. Because now he's coming back as an immortal king or a prince to rule over the children of Israel. So they have to come back together as one nation. Like we said the other day on the radio, the big reset. Everything is resetting itself back. Neither shall they defile themselves anymore with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions. But I will save them out of all their dwelling places wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their Elohim. And Dawid, my servant, shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments, and observe my statutes, and do them. This is King David. Everybody call him David. We call him Dawid. This is King David. King David will come back as an immortal king, and he will rule over mortal beings. Any questions?
Yes, I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Would Matthew 19, 28 kind of like go along with when David come back to rule, that they also would be ruling next to him as well as Christ?
Who will be ruling next to him?
If you read Matthew 19,
oh, yeah, I'm
28.
on my way there, sis. I'm on my way.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I'm on my way there. I have a whole breakdown from what we have learned so far of what the nation will be. Yes, you're talking about the 12 apostles?
Yes.
Now, remember that scripture said, what will they be doing? They will be judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be a whole immortal government. Everybody's going to be immortal that's in the government. They're going to be ruling over mortal beings. But the government going to be immortal. This is an amazing story. I'm telling you. You are wow.
It is.
Everybody.
Wow.
The apostles coming back, the 12 apostles is coming back, and they're going to be immortal. King Dawid is coming back, and he's going to be immortal. And then Yehudah definitely is immortal. And then, we're going to break it down. We're going to break it all the way down today. Somebody else was saying something? Okay, let's keep going. And why is it necessary for the population to be mortal? Who's coming back to be mortal in the population of his kingdom?
All the people that didn't know they were Israel.
Absolutely. All the people who didn't know they was Israel.
And I think it's also for the Gentiles as well, who will be there.
Yes,
and
it
the
is.
Mashiach.
Yes, ma'am. You're absolutely right.
But I also question, I have a question, though. I don't think the other nations will become immortal. But
well, I don't know that. Well, that's a good question. I don't know how that's going to work out. I haven't really pushed into that issue yet, but I don't know, because in Revelations it says all kindred, nations, and tongues will be, but we'll catch up to that later. I'm trying to encourage Israel to let them know that this is a part of his kingdom. Now, once his kingdom is over and we go into the other side, we'll deal with that next week, but I'll definitely try to deal with that. But, in Revelations, it does talk about that it was people of all nations, kindreds, and tongues. Don't know. Once this thing is all over. Let's see, here we go. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt, they shall dwell therein. Even they and their children and their children's children forever. And my servant Dawid shall be their prince forever. He's going to be the prince. He's going to be the ruler. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them, and I will place them and multiply them, and I will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. My tabernacle also shall be with them, yea, I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And the heathen shall know that I, the Most High, do sanctify Israel, when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forever. Any questions? Now, we's coming back. They're going to set up enough. They're going to set it all up. We got this one, a covenant of peace. Ezekiel 34. And the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy against the shepherds of Israel. Prophesy and say unto them, Thus saith the Most High Elohim unto the shepherds. Woe be to the shepherds of Israel that do feed themselves. Should not the shepherds feed the flock? Ye eat the fat, and ye clothe ye with wool. Ye kill them that are fed, but ye feed not the flock. The disease have ye not strengthened, neither have ye healed that which was sick, neither have ye bound up that which was broken. Neither have you brought again that which was driven away, neither have ye sought that which was lost, but with force and with cruelty have ye ruled them. And they were scattered, because there is no shepherd, and they became meat to all the beasts of the field when they were scattered. My sheep wandered through all the mountains upon every high hill, yea, my flock was scattered upon all the face of the earth, and none did search or seek after them. Therefore, ye shepherds, hear the word of the Most High. As I live, saith the Most High Elohim, surely because my flock became a prey, and my flock became meat to every beast of the field, because there was no shepherd, neither did my shepherds search for my flock, but the shepherds fed themselves and fed not my flock. Therefore, O ye shepherds, hear the word of the Most High. Thus saith the Most High Elohim, Behold, I am against the shepherds, and I will require my flock at their hand, and cause them to cease from feeding the flock. Neither shall the shepherd feed themselves any more, for I will deliver my flock from their mouth, that they may not be meat for them. For thus saith the Most High Elohim, Behold, I, even I, will both search my sheep and seek them out. As a shepherd seeketh out his flock in the day that he is come among his sheep that are scattered, so will I seek out my sheep, and will deliver them out of all places where they have been scattered in the cloudy and dark day. And I will bring them out of the people, and gather them from the countries, and will bring them to their own land, and feed them upon the mountains of Israel by the rivers, and in all the inhabited places of the country. And I will feed them in a good pasture, and upon the high mountains of Israel shall their fold be. There shall they lie in a good fold, and in a fat pasture shall they feed upon the mountain of Israel. And I will feed my flock, and I will cause them to lay down, saith the Most High Elohim. I will seek that which was lost, and bring again that which was driven away, and will bind up that which was broken, and will strengthen that which was sick. But I will destroy the fat and the strong, and I will feed them with judgment. And as for you, O my flock, saith the Most High Elohim, behold, I judge between cattle and cattle, between rams and the he-goats. Seemeth it a small thing unto you to have eaten up the good pasture, but ye must tread down with your feet the residue of your pasture, and to have drunk of the deep waters, but ye must foul the residue with your feet? And as for my flock, they eat that which ye have trodden with your feet, and they drink that which you have fouled with your feet. Therefore thus saith the Most High Elohim unto them, Behold, I, even I, will judge between the fat cattle and between the lean cattle, because ye have thrust with side and with shoulder, and pushed all the disease with your horns, till ye have scattered them abroad. Therefore I will save my flock, And they shall no more be a prey, and I will judge between cattle and cattle. And I will set up one shepherd over them, and he shall feed them, even my servant Dawid. He shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd. And I, the Most High, will be their Elohim, and my servant Dawid a prince among them. I, the Most High, have spoken it. So Dawid coming, and he going to set him up as like his vice regent. He going to be there, but David's going to be the prince. That's going to be the government. We going back to a royal monarchy like we supposed to be, and then he's going to be there to supervise everything. All right. And I will make with them a covenant of peace, and will cause the evil beast to cease out of the land, and they shall dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods. And I will make them and the places around about my hill a blessing, and I will cause the shower to come down in this season. There shall be showers of blessings. And the tree of the field shall yield her fruit, and the earth shall yield her increase, and they shall be safe in their land, and shall know that I am the Most High, when I have broken the bands of their yoke, and delivered them out of the hands of those that serve themselves of them. And they shall no more be a prey to the heathen, neither shall the beast of the land devour them. Let me go back. But they shall dwell safely, and none shall make them afraid. This is not going to last always. All I can tell you is be patient, because the Most High, His word is not going to come back void. I know it's rough now, and some of us have been through some rough things, but this is a promise that He made that He's going to keep. He said it's not going to come back void. Watch what He says. And I will raise up from them a plant of renown, and they shall be no more consumed with hunger in the land, neither bear the shame of the heathen anymore. Thus shall they know that I, the Most High, their Elohim, am with them, and that they, even the house of Israel, are my people, saith the Most High Elohim. And ye, my flock, the flock of my pasture, are men, and I am your Elohim, saith the Most High Yah. Any questions? No other nation has this promise. That's why they live like they do. That's why everybody doing their own thing. Do what you want to do. That's why everybody trying to come here. Because in America, you can do whatever you want to do. You can live any way you want to. You can act any way you want to. You can do whatever you want to. You can have anything you want in America. But nobody has this promise right here. Now, weed is coming back. He's going to rule. He's going to be an immortal king on the earth. We talked last week about the mortal people, the people that will be there, that will die. A baby will live to be 100, an infant will live to be 100 years old. The old men and old women shall be standing on the corners while the children play in the street. It's going to be mortals and immortals. You're going to have the human priesthood, which is the Levitical priesthood, that's going to run the tabernacle. They're going to do the offerings and all of the stuff, the sin offerings and things. And then you're going to have the priesthood after the order of Melchizedek. There's going to be the cabinet members that's going to make sure everything runs smoothly. King Dawid is going to be set up as a monarchy while Yehudah is there as the Elohim. It's going to be very organized and detailed. Any questions?
I have a question. Were the shepherds that were mentioned in that chapter, were they the people who rule over us or our own leaders?
Those were our own leaders, the ones that were supposed to rule over us before, and they basically took care of themselves. They made things were okay for them. They weren't really looking out for the people.
I'm still doing it today.
Now, you took the words right out of my mouth. You know, and that same mentality is today, even though we know that the Christian church, what we grew up in, is not what we're supposed to modern ourselves after, but it's the same thought. It's the same mentality. You take care of me and I'll take care of you. When really the shepherd is supposed to feed the sheep.
I think when he said, too, he'll judge between cattle and cattle, even among the sheep, it looks like there were some that tried to be above others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All of it's going to change. All of it is going to change. This is going to be a covenant of peace. It won't be no more of that. Let me try to get everybody's mics on mute. Anybody else? Anybody else? Got any questions, comments, concerns? And these are the things that we have to look forward to. We have to look forward to. You know, and we got to be able to understand that. You know, it's all praises be to the Most High. You know, this is what we look forward to. This is Yah's doing. There's no other nation on the planet that has this kind of a promise. They just don't have it. All praises be to Yah.
And Sister Diana, when you read this too, I mean, this is a restoration. I don't really see a lot about bringing in others who are not part of the original covenant into this. This is the restoration of the original covenant people.
Absolutely. That's why, you know, even though the Bible says they will cling to Israel and they will come to Israel and they'll want to be with us, that will probably happen down the line. But when the gathering comes, he doesn't say he's gathering anyone but Israel. He just doesn't say that. All right, here we go, the forbidden gate.
Well, the 1,000 years is different from when the Almighty Father is ruling. The 1,000 years is a different dispensation. That's a different period.
Absolutely. And that's what we're talking about now. We're talking about the 1,000 years and when he's coming back to get Israel. Because this is what we read about. We haven't even touched the Father down.
Right. Because the Father, because the final cut, and it's in the book of Revelation, the final cut is when the Father cast Satan in. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I know Satan, death and hell, and the grave, and all of that is going to be cast into a lake of fire. It won't be hell that they go into. It will be a lake of eternal fire.
Right. Absolutely. All right, here we go, the forbidden gate. Ezekiel chapter 44. Now, this is a gate. Matter of fact, let me hold on for a minute. This gate that I'm talking about here is a gate that is very open and prevalent in Israel right now. This is a gate that is sealed up. That no one can go through right now. It's called the forbidden gate. They call it the golden gate. A lot of people call it the golden gate. Some people call it the forbidden gate. But this is where the Most High is going to come in. This is where King Dawid is going to come in at. This is the gate where he's going to actually come into Jerusalem at. And no man is allowed to come through this gate at all whatsoever. No man is allowed to come through this gate. This gate is only for him to come through. So I just wanted to make sure that we have that because I want to show you what this looks like. And go back here to this particular something so we can get it set up. But this is actually the gate that King Dawid is going to go through. So let's go back, and here's the picture of what it looks like. It's still sealed up to this day. Nobody can go through it, supposedly, what they say it is. We don't, but nobody can come through it. Nobody can go out of it. It's sealed up. Watch what it says, Ezekiel 44, verse 1. Then he brought me back the way of the gate of the outward sanctuary which looks toward the east, and it was shut. Then said the Most High unto me, This gate shall be shut, it shall not be opened, and no man shall enter in by it, because the Most High, the Elohim of Israel, has entered in by it, therefore it shall be shut. It is for the prince. The prince, he shall sit in it to eat bread before the Most High. He shall enter by the way of the porch of that gate, and shall go out by the way of the same. So this is when his kingdom comes. This is where they say this gate is toward the east. So no man will go, no mortal will go through this gate. This is for the Most High, and this is for Dawid. No man will ever enter through this gate if this is the one. Watch what he says. The tabernacle. Ezekiel chapter 46. Thus saith the Most High Elohim, the gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east shall be shut with 6 working days. But on the Sabbath it shall be open, and in the day of the new moon it shall be open. And the prince shall enter by the way of the porch of that gate without, and shall stand by the post of the gate, and the priest shall prepare his burnt offering and his peace offering, and he shall worship at the threshold of the gate. Then he shall go forth, but the gate shall not be shut until the even. Likewise, the people of the land shall worship at the door of this gate before the Most High in the Sabbath and in the new moons. And the burnt offering that the prince shall offer unto the Most High in the Sabbath day shall be 6 lambs without blemish, and a ram without a blemish. And the meat offering shall be an ephod for a ram, and the meat offering for the lamb as he shall be able to give, and a hin of oil to an ephod. That's the measuring. And in the day of the new moon it shall be a young bullock without blemish, and 6 lambs and a ram, they shall be without blemish. And he shall prepare a meat offering for an ephod for a bullock, and an ephod for a ram, and for the lambs according as his hand shall attain unto, and a hin of oil to an ephod. This is his measurings that he's giving instructions to the priest to prepare his food, because the Most High likes to smell it. Watch what he says. And when the prince shall enter, he shall go in by the way of the porch of that gate, and he shall go forth by the way thereof. And when the people of the land shall come before the Most High in the solemn feast, he that enter in by the way of the north gate to worship shall go out by the way of the south gate. And he that enter by the way of the south gate shall go forth by the way of the north gate, and he shall not return by the way of the gate whereby he came in, but shall go forth over against it. And the prince in the midst of them, when they go in, shall go in, and when they go forth, shall go forth. And in the feast and in the solemnities, the meat offering shall be an ephod to a bullock, and an ephod to a ram, and to the lambs as he is able to give, and a hin of oil to the ephod. Now when the prince shall prepare a voluntary burnt offering or a peace offering voluntary unto the Most High, one shall then open him the gate that looketh toward the east. And he shall prepare his burnt offering and his peace offering as he did on the Sabbath day. And he shall go forth, and after his going forth, one shall shut the gate. Thou shalt daily prepare a burnt offering unto the Most High of a lamb of the first year without blemish. Thou shalt prepare it every morning. So here we got the tabernacle in action again. The Levitical priesthood is making sure the burnt offering is going every morning. They're going back to their regular duties that they're supposed to have. And thou shalt prepare a meat offering for it every morning, the 6th part of an ephod, the 3rd part of an hin of oil, to temper with fine flour a meat offering continually by a perpetual ordinance unto the Most High. Thus shall they prepare the lamb and the meat offering and the oil every morning for a continual burnt offering. Thus saith the Most High Elohim, if the prince give a gift unto any of his sons, the inheritance thereof shall be his sons. It shall be their possession by inheritance. So what that means is he has to give money to his children out of his own wealth. Watch what it says. But if he give a gift of inheritance to one of his servants, then it shall be his to the year of liberty. After it shall return to the prince, but his inheritance shall be his sons for them. Moreover, the prince shall not take of the people's inheritance by oppression to thrust them out of their possession, but he shall give his sons inheritance out of his own possession, that my people be not scattered, every man from his possession. And after he brought me through the entry which was at the side of the gate into the holy chambers of the priest, which looked toward the north, and behold, there was a place on the two sides westward. Then said he unto me, this is the place where the priest shall boil the trespass offering and the sin offering, where they shall bake the meat offering, that they bear them not out into the utter court to sanctify the people. Then he brought me forth into the utter court, and caused me to pass by the four corners of the court, and behold, in every corner of the court there was a court. In the four corners of the court there were courts joined by 40 cubit long and 30 broad. These four corners were of one measure. And there was a row of buildings round about in them, round about them four, and it was made with boiling places under the row round about. Then he said unto me, these are the places of them that boil, where the ministers of the house shall boil the sacrifice of the people. So that's how we had the system set up. We almost done. Any questions? So there will be an ongoing tabernacle. The Levitical priesthood will be there. King David will be there. The prince, he will be doing the things that he needs to do, and the priests will be doing their daily priest duties by the sacrifices, and it will be going on continually every day. Here we go. Israel without a king. Hosea chapter 3. Watch what it says. It says, then said the Most High unto me, go yet, love a woman beloved of her friend, yet an adulteress, according to the love of the Most High toward the children of Israel, who look to other gods and love flagons of wine. So Israel like to drink, and they was worshiping other deities. So I brought her to me for 15 pieces of silver, and for a homer of barley, and a half a homer of barley. And I said unto her, thou shalt abide for me many days, thou shalt not play the harlot, and thou shalt not be for another man, so will I also be for thee. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without a teraphim. Afterwards shall the children of Israel return, and seek the Most High their Elohim, and Dawid their king, and shall fear the Most High and his goodness in the latter days. Any questions? Here we go. We're getting ready to wrap this up. So it says Jeremiah, Hosea, Ezekiel clearly leads us to the conclusion that during the millennium, Yahushua will be present as the Messiah, while Dawid will be present fulfilling the role of the prince. Obviously, he will be resurrected to fulfill this role. Therefore, Yah is able to raise King Dawid to fulfill his millennial purposes if he so desires. The kingdom government. Here you go, the immortal. So you got Yahushua going to be there as the Messiah. King Dawid going to be there as the immortal prince. The 12 apostles will be there on the 12 thrones judging Israel. The immortal house of Israel is going to be there after the order of Melchizedek. Any questions? Those are the immortals. Now you have the mortals, the people that are human. You got the Levitical priesthood after Zadok's seed. You're going to have the tabernacle, and then you're going to have the regenerated children of Israel and the nations that are left from the sword. Anybody have any questions?
It's almost over.
It's almost over. We're almost there. Hold on, you guys. Give me 1 minute. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to stop the recording so that we can have our question and answer. Please feel free to join us tomorrow on our radio show at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Yehudah Project. The number is 718-664-9551. Thank you for joining us for this class.